Anyway, we'll not wait any further. Okay, we have to start. It's already late. Okay, so in the last class, we started discussing some few terminologies. That was prehension. We have discussed about prehension. Just 1 minute. Okay, I am getting a call here. Uh, yeah. So what I was telling, so we started about discussing about prehension. Okay, the next terminology is mastication. So what do you understand by mastication? Mastication is simply the process of chewing. Okay, so we call it as a mastication. The purpose is to reduce the size. Hello, am I audible to everyone? Okay, so mastication means it is the just simple process of chewing is called mastication. The purpose is to make the food particles into smaller size for easy passage in the subsequent sections of the digestive tract, and also for easy access of the digestive juices or digestive enzymes to act onto the digesting food. Particularly the incisors. Incisors means the incisor teeth. Okay, the incisor teeth, they cut the food, and the molar teeth grind the food. Okay, so incisors are used for cutting the food, while the molar teeth are used for grinding the food. So during the process of mastication, teeth are exclusively used to cut the food and to grind the food into smaller particles. Okay, so the in addition to reduce the size of the food particles, mastication also has in salivation. Okay, during the process, when the food particle is present in the buccal cavity, some sensations will be given on to the sensors present all over the buccal cavity, and they will give the signal to stimulate the secretion of salivary gland from the secretion of saliva from the salivary glands. The saliva will come from the salivary glands, and they will be poured onto the mouth cavity, and it will get mixed up with the chewing food. While chewing, the food will get moisture, and by the moistening action of the saliva, the chewing food will not cause physical injury. Some food substances, they may be rough, they may cause some injuries. So sometimes what happens when you happen to eat chips, Okay, some chips or some coarse materials you can some tear on your buccal mucosa, on your soft palate. Okay, and then in and around your buccal cavity. Okay, so that is to be prevented. The maximum injury to be prevented by the process of mixing the food with saliva. The saliva will moisten the food and it will prevent the injury. And that will enable the easy swallow. Means the food after mixing with the saliva, it will be ready to swallow. Okay, so chewing helps in reducing the size of the food for easy digestion, and it also stimulates salivation. It mixes with the food, moistens the food, and it will enable the food to swallow. It will make into a bolus and it will be swallowed. Okay, so in carnivores and omnivores, mastication is primarily vertical and have a cutting effect. That means up and down and up and down. That means from the upper jaw and the lower jaw will be cutting the food primarily by vertical movement. While in case of the herbivores, there will be considerable lateral movement. That means there will be lateral movement means how I will say, by joining the two jaws, it will move side to side. Upper and the lower jaw, by joining the two jaws, upper and the lower jaw, there will be side to side movement in case of the herbivores. Why? Because the herbivores consume very rough, not easily digestible food materials in the form of grasses to enable the breaking down into smaller particles. Chewing needs the considerable lateral movement. Okay, and there will be chewing only at one side at once. That is upper jaw. You might have studied that the size of the upper jaw and the lower jaw is not same. When it is pressed together, the lower jaw is inside of the upper jaw, isn't it? So the lateral movement only will be possible when they chew only at one side at once. Then they will change the side to the another. Say for in case of the cattle and the sheep, there will be chewing of about say 50 chews. After that, they will change the side to another. Say there, and then there will be a chew for another 50 chews. Then they will keep the side. But in case of the camel, there is change in the sides after every chew. So that's why you see in camels, you might have seen in advertisements and how they eat, there is a heavy movement of their lower jaw from side to side, because while chewing, they need to change the side from side to side. Okay, so this chewing, not only the saliva secretion, not only reducing the size of the particle, it is also helping. It is going to secrete the salivary amylase. Not in all the animals, the herbivores and the carnivores, they don't have amylase enzyme in the saliva. But the omnivores are having salivary amylase in their saliva. This salivary amylase will start digestion of the carbohydrate. They will digest the starch present in the food into smaller particles. Okay, so the digestion of the starch will initiate in the mouth of the omnivorous animals, but not in the case of the ruminants or not in case of the carnivorous animals. They don't have the salivary amylase enzyme in their saliva. So that will come later again. So what is mastication? Mastication means process of chewing, and it has in the digestion by reducing the food particle into their smaller sizes. It also has in stimulating the saliva secretion. It has in the mixing of the food with the saliva, and it allows the easy swallow. And the mastication needs the movement of the jaws vertically, mainly in case of the carnivores and the omnivores, while in the herbivores there is also lateral movement of the jaws. Okay. Then, this chewing reduces the size of the feed particle and create a larger surface area for digestive enzyme action. Okay, so then chewing also aids in digestion of the food because the digestive enzyme
slide is not visible.
Wait. Yeah, so chewing reduces the size of the feed particles. It creates larger surface area for digestive enzyme actions. And chewing also aids in digestion of the food because the digestive enzymes only act on the surfaces of the food particles. That means larger is the area available for the enzymes to act on, the greater will be the actions of the enzymes. So the food particles, if they are not broken into smaller particles, the area available for enzymes to act on will be less. For that, the food needs to be broken into smaller particles so that more and more of the areas are available for the enzymes to act on. Okay, the rate of the digestion is absolutely dependent on the total surface area exposed to the digestive secretions. So in addition, grinding the food also will prevent damage of the gastrointestinal tract, provides easy transport of the food from the stomach into the small intestine and into all the succeeding segments of the gut. Okay, so this I have already explained that it will help in moistening the food and it will help in the easy passage from one section to the next and next to the next segments in the gut. Next term is the deglutition. So deglutition means, and it is the another name of swallowing. That is the propulsion of food from oral cavity to the esophagus through the pharynx, which carries it further to the stomach. That means the process how the food material is passed from oral cavity and reaching to the stomach, okay, passing through the pharynx and then further to the esophagus and then to the stomach is called deglutition. Okay, after adequately chewing them and mixing with the saliva, the tongue molds it into cohesive mass known as bolus. Cohesive mass means it is adhered to one another with the help of the mucus present in the saliva. It molds into a mass that is called bolus. Okay, so in general, swallowing can be divided into three stages: a voluntary stage, a pharyngeal stage that is involuntary, and an esophageal stage that is also another involuntary stage. That means when the food is in the mouth, it is you who has to decide that whether you will swallow it or not. That is the first stage, and it depends on your will. Okay, so that is one voluntary stage, and the next, which is passing from the pharynx to the esophagus, and then from the esophagus to the stomach, that is involuntary stage. Means that is not beyond your will. You cannot decide once.
Slide is not visible.
Yes. Deglutition.
Next slide is not visible.
Oh, this is the problem. Is it now visible? Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what I said, the process of swallowing is called deglutition. That is the process of passage of the food from oral cavity to the esophagus, then to the pharynx, then to the stomach. Okay, that process is called swallowing, and during this process of swallowing, the food which has been molded into a small mass, that is called bolus. So a bolus means it is the partially digested food. Partially digested means by grinding. and by mixing with the saliva in the mouth, that will be molded into small mass, and that small mass is called bolus, and this bolus will be passed on from the mouth to the stomach. Okay, and during this process there are 3 stages. First one, that is passing from the mouth to the pharynx. Okay, so that is the initiation, whether you will swallow it or not. That phase is the voluntary stage. Okay, once you have decided and the first stage is over, that you have started swallowing, after that passing from the pharynx to the esophagus, then to the esophagus, then from the esophagus to the stomach, those 2 phases are involuntary phases. Okay, so the voluntary stage, then the pharyngeal stage, and the esophageal stage. Okay, there are 3 stages in swallowing. So here what you have to remember is that during the process of swallowing, respiration is always inhibited. There is no respiration taking place during swallowing. Why? The pharynx, the pharynx and the larynx, they are opening at the same place. If you are swallowing and the respiratory process is not inhibited, then the swallowed feed material will reach to the respiratory system. It will reach to your lungs. So to prevent that, respiration has to be completely inhibited. So swallowing and the respiration does not take place together. You have to remember that while swallowing, respiration is completely inhibited. Okay, so when the food is passing through the esophagus, okay, from the pharynx to the esophagus, the respiration is inhibited, and only after swallowing is over, the respiration can start. Okay. Next is a rumination. So you might have heard this term rumination many a time. It means it is the chewing of cud. So here the question is, what is cud? C-U-D, cud. Do you understand what is cud? Tell me. No. Cud means the food which was chewed, okay, has been swallowed and reached to the stomach. In case of the ruminants, it is now reaching to the rumen. Okay, so this food is partially digested one. Okay, that partially digested food, okay, that was swallowed once, which is present in the rumen, is the cud. Okay. Okay. So this food, what the ruminants will do, they will take out of the rumen, okay, into the mouth and re-chew them. Okay. There will be remastication, and during remastication, there will be re-ensalivation. Okay. The chewing of the freshly ingested food, okay, the freshly ingested food, that is we call as the mastication. But after mastication, once it has been swallowed, and this food is again taken out to the mouth and re-chew. That means there is remastication, and during remastication, there is again more and more secretion of saliva, and there is more and more mixing of the food with the saliva. That is re-ensalivation. So that process is called rumination. So rumination means the chewing of the cud. During this, there is remastication of already swallowed food in the mouth cavity, and there is re-ensalivation. And that the process of rumination takes place at the rest. Means when the animal is near their feet, they are the grass or they are grazing in the field, they will just keep on eating. Okay, they will just ingest the food and swallow, and all of them will be kept in the rumen. When they get free time, when their grazing is over, when they take rest, at that time they will take out the already swallowed food materials to the mouth and re-chew them. And that process is the rumination. Okay, be clear on it. Okay, so the remasticated feed is again swallowed back into the rumen. Okay, so this will be the second time swallowing. So now this remasticated feed is ready for further process of digestion in the rumen. Okay, rumination results in shorter retention time of feed in the GI tract. If there is no rumination, the feed which was ingested for the first time, there are coarse materials. On these coarse materials, the microbes cannot easily act on. There are a number of the microbes present in the rumen. They have to act on these coarse materials, on these grasses or on this fibrous food. Okay, but the microbes can act only when they have some acting sites, some pore cut ends in the feed materials. Okay, so if the rumination is not there, this area where the microbes can act on will be less, and they cannot easily act on them, and so there will be less microbial action. So without any microbial action, the feed cannot be digested. Okay, so the feed cannot be properly digested. For that, they need to be kept in the digestive tract for longer period of time to act on, to digest. But rumination results in the shorter retention time of feed in the GI tract. It maintains more uniform amount of ingesta in the GI tract to pass during a 24-hour period, probably due to continuous remastication. So there will be, whenever the animal gets time, okay, when they are not engaged in feeding, okay, when they are not engaged in feeding, they will spend their time in rumination. Okay, so whole time they will continue in the rumination, and it will help in maintaining a uniform amount of ingesta, okay, in the GI tract. Do you have class at 11? Yes. Then I will leave you, okay? We'll continue in the next class.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you can leave.
Thank you, ma'am.